Hello guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making Polish dumplings called pierogi. We're gonna making the traditional pierogi ruskie, which is potato and cheese dumplings. They're very simple, not so quick, but you need only like 3-4 ingredients and you can go. So I already cut my onions. There's around 2 medium-sized onions in here. I have 500 grams of potatoes, and normally we would use some meat grinder to mash our potatoes to make them nice and smooth. We don't have those old tools in here, so we have to make puree old-fashioned way. Okay, we're gonna let them cool off, and in the meantime we're gonna fry our onion. So I'm probably gonna use around 2 spoons of butter. You can use olive oil if you prefer to. I'm using the butter. Okay, so we're melting the butter. It's a special frying butter so it doesn't burn. And when it's gonna be all melted nice and hot, we're gonna throw some onions in. Okay, our onion is frying. Make sure you chop it really finely because it's gonna go inside our dumplings. We don't want big chunks, they have to be really nice and small. Okay, so our onion looks nice and golden, so it's ready to go. We're gonna put it back in a bowl and let it cool off as well. Okay, so you have our fried onion, we have our potatoes, we're missing one ingredient, we're missing the cottage cheese. So the best one would be the semi-skimmed or full fat. I'm using semi-skimmed, it's from Polish shop. It's called semi-fat curd cheese. It's around 300 grams in here. And now we should put it through the meat grinder as well, which I don't have. So I'm gonna put it through the blender and hopefully it will work. I've never used it in the blender before. Okay, so that's how the cheese looks before the blending. It's really lumpy. We need to make it nice and smooth. Okay, it was really hard to blend. I think the hand blender would be better than the automatic one, but that's how it looks like at the moment. We have a little bit smoother cheese, so hopefully it will work. Now we have to mix all the ingredients. And we're gonna add only a little bit of salt and pepper. Now it's up to you how much you add. I would say it's around half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of pepper, but you test it. I always go by eye. And now we have to mix it all together. Okie doke, so that's our unified filling. That is good. Now we have to make the dough. Okay, let's make the dough. We have a big bowl, we have some flour, and now it's important to get a soft flour, the cake type of flour. If you will choose a plain or bread one, it's gonna be too hard. It have to be a soft flour, so it's a cake flour. We need around 500 grams, which is half a packet. I'm using the kitchen scales to make sure I have 500 grams in there. A little bit more, we're almost there. Okie doke, so that's 500 grams of flour. Okay, and now we're gonna add some salt, it's half a spoon. And then we're gonna need some oil. Okay, and now it's time for oil. I've got 4 spoons of oil in here. There we go. And we need some water. Now the water have to be freshly boiled, hot, and it's around a glass, which is 250 ml or just shy of half a pint. There you go. And now we're gonna mix it with the spoon first. Okay, and now we're gonna mix it with a spoon. Gently. Let it all turn into a mass. Thinking a good idea would be to take it off from that kitchen scale. And now that it's getting a little bit harder, we're gonna be using our hands. We shouldn't burn now. The water is nicely distributed in a mix. Okay, and it's time to use the hands. You wanna really work it. It's gonna take a while. I think you could use it. I think you could use Thermomix, but I don't have those luxuries. We're going old school. Now that we don't have any loose flour in a bowl, we can take it out and work it on the table. It's gonna be a little bit easier. Now you know your dough is getting ready because it doesn't stick to your hands or to the table, and it's getting nice and smooth. Okay, now that our dough is ready, it's good to let it rest so it doesn't shrink when we try to spread it nicely. We're gonna put it back in a bowl, cover it with something and let it sit for 30 minutes. The dough is potating. Okie doke, our dough is ready. I put the pot on, I put some water with a little bit of salt and oil. We have to bring it to boil, and in the meantime we're gonna spread some flour on our table. Just a little bit. And we're gonna cut the dough into 3 pieces, I think. Let's find some cutting board. Okay, so I have 3 pieces of dough, and now we need to roll it. Put it nice, get some flour on, and let's flatten that. As you can see, our dough doesn't move back when you stretch it and roll it. It stays in the same shape. It doesn't try to move. It's gonna make it much more nice to work with. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have any pretty shape. We're gonna cut circles out of it either way. It does feel nice and thin. I would say it's like a thick sheet of paper. Okay, I don't have a proper cutter. I'm gonna use the glass. That's how my mom used to do pierogi, using a glass. We have a glass, pretty wide rim, and we're gonna get circles out. Don't have to be worried about the leftover pieces. We're gonna put them together and use them later on. I think Mark would be better in that. He would be able to get less waste than me, knowing how good he is with his geometry and art. And now we take our dumpling. We're gonna put a little bit of the filling that we set aside. I'm putting around a spoonful. Now you want to shape it into a slight oval. And then you get your edges together and close them like so. Okay, doke. And now my mom used to make a nice ruffle, so you twist them. And that's how a little dumpling looks like. Nice and cute. Okay, let's make the rest. It's gonna take a while now. I think we have a volunteer to help.
Yeah.
Okay, so the water is boiling. There's 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 spoons of oil so the dumplings don't stick together. We want the water to boil before we put them in, but we don't want it to boil really hard, so when it started to boil we can reduce the heat so it will plop really slowly, and it's time to put dumplings. Okay, the dumplings are in. As you can see, when you put them in they will go all the way to the bottom, and now we have to wait for them to resurface. When they will go to the top, it's gonna take another 3 minutes and they're gonna be ready. And those are resurfaced dumplings. 3 minutes and they're ready. Okay, and in here I'm doing something extra because Mark likes his pierogi with some meat. I'm frying a little bit of onion and Polish bacon. No salt, no pepper. Bacon is salty enough. And we're gonna put it on top of our dumplings and it's gonna be delicious. Okay, and that's the final result. We have a big plate full of dumplings with some bacon and fried onion, and it's gonna be delicious.